thank you so much for being here. I know it's not always easy to carve out time to learn a new skill and to learn something new. So I want to acknowledge you for being open to being here tonight with me and having this chat and being open to being a student and learning something new. It's how we always get better. Tonight, what I want to go over is reasons why you're not getting what you want from social media, why you're not generating more leads, why you're not attracting your right avatar, while you're not building whatever it is that you want to build. That's the goal of tonight. And everything starts with a decision. If you've worked with me before in other things like my fat loss programs, you'll know I talk a lot about decision, that things can't change, things can't grow, things can't shift without first making a decision. So whether you're applying to what I'm teaching with you tonight or anything else in your life you want to create, know that a decision is the #1 first step in something. So my question to you first, and if you want to type it in the comment box, have you decided that you want to learn a new skill here? And if you have, I want you to just say, I've decided. Why now? Why do you want to do this right now? Because results don't take time. They actually don't take time. A lot of times we think we need a lot more time to create something. What results actually take are 3 things: vision, decision, and feedback. So when we are very clear on where we're headed, what we want to create with something, that's vision. Decision is knowing that we're ready to take that action there and that we're going to create something. And then feedback is being willing to look at, are these new things, these new actions I'm taking working for me? And if not, why? So feedback can come from other people and it can come from your own results. Feedback is critical. There are people all around the world right now, you all, because you all are on here for a reason, all around the world right now that want to learn from you, not just me, but from you. Every single one of you has a gift in something, right? Raise your hand. Yes, you have a gift in something. You have a purpose. You have a gift in something. There are people all around the world that want to learn from you. And what happens so many times, especially in the online space, we get so stuck in the idea that somebody else is better than us at this and that we don't have something to offer. Have you been there? Like, somebody else knows this more than me. I have no business being here. What I want you to know about that is that's incorrect information. It's not true. Every one of you has a gift and something to teach that's unique. And there are many people out there that want to learn from you. If you're going to have any breakthroughs tonight, that's the goal. I want this to be something you really look at as a first possibility of one, because sometimes we're so in our heads with this comparison or somebody knows more than us that we're afraid to share our knowledge. And I want you to look at that as that potentially might be selfish, because there's somebody out there that could be learning from you, but by you not sharing your gifts, you'll never know that. You'll never be able to help them. So this is critical because there's so many people around the world waiting for you to show up with your gift. And I know that comparison feels super yucky and it can wrap us up in this, I'm not good enough. And when we get there, we tend to stop ourselves. And that's the first thing I want to point out is every single one of you has something to share right here. Okay, I've got some questions for you. And if you could type your answers out, if you're watching the replay, just think of them as I'm asking them. But how many of you that are on, so I know who I'm talking to, feel behind in the social media game right now? Okay, a lot of hands going up. You feel behind in it. Okay, that's what I thought. How many of you feel like you should be making a bigger impact right now? Lots of hands up. Awesome. Okay, got it. How many of you feel like you should be making more money from social media? Yeah? Yeah? Like that? Yeah, awesome. Okay, how many of you have not firmly, this is a different kind of question, but how many of you have not firmly decided what you want to build or create from your social media? How many of you? Okay, a few of you there, not clear there. All right, how many of you are not laser clear on your vision, on where you're headed with that? Anyone there? Okay. Cool. Some of you, okay. How many of you feel confused about what actions you actually need to take? Okay. Yeah, I know that can be frustrating too, because there's a lot of information overload out there and formulas that look like we're supposed to follow this formula, but it's confusing to know what actually to do. All right, I want to share why I'm even here teaching this with you tonight, because this is going to help tie in some things. A lot of you that are listening to the replay or on live have followed me initially for fat loss, fitness, or nutrition. Any of you on here, that's how you originally found me? Got it. Yes. Okay. I want to give you a little bit of backstory on that. So before I ever was teaching fitness, nutrition, weight loss, fat loss, any of that, I'm actually in corporate America. And when I was in corporate America, what I taught was sales and branding, believe it or not. In fact, I worked for my last job before I started Natalie Jill Fitness was working for a dental implant company. How exciting is that? Dental implants. I used to tell people in an elevator, they'd say, what do you do? I'd say, I sell implants, and then just wait for their giggle. But dental implants is not very exciting. And the reason I did so well in dental implants is I was really good at helping people solve problems. Meaning we sold a widget, a dental implant, and we were supposed to sell to oral surgeons, and selling features and benefits around implants was not very exciting. The reason I ended up doing so well in that is I really would work with oral surgeons to get to the root of what was holding them back from growing their practices to a whole new level. What I learned with them was that oral surgeons, it wasn't about just comparing feature and benefit. It was about they needed more patients. In order to get more patients, I had to solve a problem for them on why are less patients going to them. What I figured out was patients were not going to them because they didn't understand why an implant was a benefit to them. So I dissected this whole problem and was able to figure out a solution that if I worked with general dentists and patients to get them more excited about dental implants, I could get more referrals to the surgeons, and the surgeons would feel really indebted to me and want to work more with me. Okay, they viewed me as somebody who really solved problems well. I'm bringing that up right now because when we hear the word sales, when we think of selling, a lot of people cringe. They're like, oh, I don't want to have to sell, right? Any of you feel that way? Like, I don't want to have to sell. I don't want to be a salesperson. I was a salesperson in the dental implant world, but what I was doing was solving problems. When we're really good at helping people solve problems, they feel very good. That is my definition of sales. There's a reason I'm sharing that story. Told you I was in corporate America. I was doing really well with that. When 2008 hit, everyone remember what was going on in 2008? Housing market crash. It was the last massive downturn of our economy. When that happened, I was going through my own personal breakdown in a lot of areas of my life. I had just had a baby. I was a new single mom. I was going through a divorce, just a little thing like that, going through a divorce. I had to figure out how I was going to keep my corporate job, traveling full-time, working this way. I had to take a voluntary demotion to figure that out and do that. I also was having my house foreclosed on. So I had a lot of stuff happening in my life. So think about that for a minute. Job change, divorce, new single mom, having my house foreclosed on. Why was that happening? A whole accumulation of things. Not going to blame my ex-husband or the economy, but a lot of stuff happening. I was in the worst situation of my life. The last thing I could think about was starting a business. That was the farthest thing from my mind. But when I hit my rock bottom spot, I, for my own benefit, turned to the one thing I could control, which was fitness and nutrition. And a lot of you met me through that. Fitness and nutrition was one thing I could control with myself. As I started doing that, I started changing. My body started changing. My mood started changing. And I opened up a Facebook account, a small little thing called Facebook at the time. This is before it became the massive thing that it is. When I started my Facebook account, I had 100 friends from high school on there. Okay, remember that used to be like the thing we'd go to just reunite with high school friends before politics and everything else got into it. But that was when I started my Facebook account. My 100 high school friends saw my body changing, saw what I was doing, and started really connecting with me. They started asking me, what are you doing? How are you losing that weight? How are you looking so good? They started seeing this journey. I didn't look at it as a business opportunity at the time, but I started helping them from a place of service. I had figured something out, how to lose weight, how to feel better, how to look better, how to get my confidence back. And I was connecting with others, being authentic about what I was going through and what I was working on. And now they wanted to learn from me. That help, that share turned into an entire multi-million-dollar business. And I'm sharing that now because I started with 100 followers on Facebook without an agenda. I was just being myself. So why do I share that story? I share that story, one, to tell you that wherever you're starting from right now, the number doesn't matter, because I'm going to teach you some things tonight that can help you do what I did there. But I'm also telling you this because why am I even doing this course with you tonight? And why did I launch a coaching program called DVA? Why did I do that when I have a successful fitness and nutrition business? Well, because the secret is, as much as I'm good at fitness and nutrition and fat loss, the reason my fitness and nutrition and fat loss business took off and grew was my knowledge of sales and branding, not my knowledge of fat loss. Yes, I have a knowledge of fat loss, just like you have a knowledge of whatever your gift is, but that is not what grew my business. What grew my business was my knowledge of sales, just like it did with the dental implants. And what I want to start the conversation with you tonight around, when we're starting with social media, is how you could do that same thing. Does that sound good? Okay. Now, while many of you have known me for fat loss and nutrition and all those, and doing that, what you didn't know is that for the last decade, behind the scenes in fat loss and nutrition, I have taken private one-on-one clients for this, for branding and sales. I've never taken more than 4 private clients a quarter. I charge a lot of money for it. I charge over $30,000 for a one-on-one client right now to teach them my tricks and my skills. And I didn't know that I wanted to scale that or reach more. I like having 4 clients one-on-one. But what I realized was I could help people that much more with teaching them that skill versus just the fat loss, right? Because fat loss is amazing. You get the confidence, all that stuff. But what was happening every time one of my clients would lose weight and feel amazing, guess what was next for them? The next thing they would come up with, I feel great, now I want to start a business, or I feel great, now I have a purpose, or I feel great, now I want to create this. So I was seeing this bigger conversation around vision and creating a bigger impact. And that's where this became important to me. Now, as much as I talk about making decisions and deciding and having a vision, I'm going to be really real with you. This was scary for me. This was scary for me, even though this is my true skill set and my gift, vision, sales, teaching people how to do this. It was scary for me. I wanted to stay in my comfort zone of fitness and nutrition. How many of you right now, this feels scary to you to get yourself out there with something that you want to do? Yeah. No, not, some of you are not scared at all. That's awesome. I want to tell you, a little bit of being scared is a healthy thing. That means you're onto something. Just a little bit. Because if we stay in our comfort zone, we don't create big things. When we step out of our comfort zone, there's a reason we're feeling a little bit scared and called to something. And usually it's because there's a bigger purpose for us. Now, I know this on a big level, but it wasn't hitting me hard enough. In fact, I kept going back to fat loss fitness. I'm going to stay stuck there. And then if any of you follow me on social media, you know I had 3 major injuries this last year, 3 major injuries. And I'm one of those people that really looks at signs. I'm like, okay, had injury number 1, ruptured disc in my lower back. Okay, maybe I should be not so focused on fitness. I'll go back to fitness. It feels comfortable. Okay. Injury number 2, I'm going to tear a bicep. Tear a bicep. I've got scars on it right now. Okay, that's my right arm. That's my masculine side. Maybe that's a sign I shouldn't go back to fitness. I mean, maybe, no, I'll go back to fitness and nutrition. That's my comfort zone. No need to step out into the scary stuff. Okay. Boom. Injury number 3, break a foot. I'm like, okay, I got it. I hear you. I got it. My fitness and nutrition business does just fine. It is self-running at this point. I will do my things there, but I decided that I'm stepping into this too. So as you're looking at stepping into something new, I want you to know that I did this to myself, opening up my DVA and doing even these micro lessons like I'm doing with you tonight to share some of these gifts with you and to help you do this. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So now that I shared that with you, I want to go back and ask you, just so I kind of have a gauge of at least of you that are on right now, who right now feels that this is scary to them? Put your hand up. So I have a gauge of who I'm talking about, who feels it, and then I'm going to ask who doesn't. So hands up, you feel a little scared about this? Okay, put your hands down, and then hands up if you're like, I got this. This is easy. I just want to crush it. I'm not scared. Okay, we got a kind of hand up. Awesome. All right. So anyway, I'm going to jump right into it now. Now we've got 5 different categories I'm going to cover tonight because I promised 5 things, and these 5 things are going to have different subtopics here. I want you to really challenge yourself here and ask any question that isn't making sense. I want to make sure we do not leave this session with you having total clarity around these things. Sound good? Okay. All right. Number 1, the reason, and there's different sections of this. The reason you're not growing or monetizing your social media the way that you want, reason number 1 is what you're sharing. Now that might sound simple, but I want to break that down. When I look at what we're sharing, the first thing that comes up with people first is I don't have enough following. Do you feel like that? I don't have enough following. Anyone feel like that? Okay. I want you to start flipping the script on that because I want you to know that the number of followers has nothing to do with your sales. Nothing at all. 0, zilch. In fact, the more followers you have, the less people you will reach that are your absolute right avatar. And I'm going to explain that to you in a second. But I want to say that again. The bigger your number, the less likely you're reaching your right person. Why is that, you say? Because if 100 people follow you because they choose to learn from you, they say, Tisha, I want to learn from you. So 100 people are following you. And now, like, you go and buy followers, let's say, or someone shouts you out and you get a bunch of new people. Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, wherever you are, they're only showing your post to a small section of your followers every day. Only a very small percentage of your followers see your post every day. When I told you my story earlier, my Facebook, when it started, I only had 100 people. Even when that was slowly growing into the 500, let's say, most of those people would see my post. At 2 million people now on my Facebook, I only reach about 20,000 of those people. So it's a gamble. If I've got 2 million people of random, who knows who is following me there? Probably a lot of dudes that wouldn't buy my stuff anyway. And Facebook's only going to show to a small amount of people. I'm losing reach on things. It's called algorithms. You've heard of it all. Because there's not enough space. Somebody asked why. There's a lot of users on social media right now, a lot of users. If you notice, when you first start a social media account, there's not a lot of users there. So your stuff's getting out there. But it's like real estate. There's not a lot of space anymore. So who gets the priority? People that are paying to play, people that are running ads, and people are getting priority if their content is viral. So somebody loves their content and it's getting shared and repurposed. But the worst thing you could do is go and buy followers, because when you buy followers, those are absolutely not your people and you're not reaching the right people. Now, let me ask you, would you rather have 100 people following you that all bought and loved and wanted to learn from you, or 1,000 people that don't know who you are? People would want number one. You would want those 100 people. I got to tell you, I hope every day to lose people on Instagram, because my Instagram, I don't get nearly as much interaction when I had a lower number, because when I go look at who's following me now, it's not my ideal person anymore. The bigger your number, you get random stuff following you. So the reason I'm sharing that, because I'm going to talk to you about how to grow. Don't worry, I'm going to get there. But I'm sharing that first because we get so caught up on a number, and that's very ego driven, to say, if I only had this number. Your results have nothing to do with your number. If you have 100 people that want to learn from you, you're in a good place. It's not about having thousands and thousands of random people. One of the things I do in my business is I get a lot of brand deals. You've seen me post about companies that I work with sometimes. And I beat out sometimes people that have millions of followers on their page. And the reason that is the case is because a lot of those people that have millions of followers on their page, they're bots, or they're people that don't actually buy. They're not real people that are going to turn into customers. So I focus really carefully on, am I attracting the right person for me? And that's what I want you to start thinking about. Am I attracting the right person? Because a small number of the right people is better than a big number of the wrong people. Okay, that's number one. Now, I mentioned reason number one is what you're sharing. And that was one component of it, is the people. The second component of that topic is your actual avatar. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Now, are any of you on here right now in the health or fitness space by chance? Okay, I don't see any hands. I know in the replays I will have a lot there. Okay, some of you. So you all have seen this before. And this came from years of working with clients one-on-one. A lot of times I would have a client say things to me like, wow, Natalie, I want to sell in the fat loss space. I want to help people feel better. I want them to feel better about themselves. And I don't know why I'm not attracting those people. And I would look at their Instagram or their Facebook or their Pinterest, and what I would see is a spray tan version of them in a thong posed with their butt sticking out. You guys have seen those Instagram pages, right? Okay. And they didn't know why they were getting hate, or guys or people weren't wanting to buy from them. And I would have to ask them, who are you trying to attract? And they would say it again. I'm trying to attract, the overweight woman that's middle-aged, that doesn't feel good about herself. And they still wouldn't get it. And I would say, well, okay, you're trying to attract that person. How do you think that person feels when they see you standing in a thong with your spray tan butt? How do you think they feel? Oh, they don't feel good about themselves. They don't feel empowered. They don't feel motivated by you. You made it all about you, and you made them feel bad. Well, that's an extreme example, but this is very common with my private clients. I look at this, who they're trying to attract and what they're putting out there does not match. So my question to you is, what are you putting out there, and what are you trying to attract, and is that matching? And is that matching? because that is usually very off. And this is not about number. Remember, I don't care if you've got 10 people following you or 10,000. You still have to think about, is what I'm putting out there attract what I'm trying to attract? And really look at that. And if you don't know, ask a friend. Ask somebody, say, hey, look at this and tell me, if you saw my page right now, who do you think I would attract? And really think about that, because sometimes people are just putting content up there. I've been guilty of it too. You're putting content up there because you just want to get likes. But remember, that doesn't attract your right person. So what are you putting out there? The next part of who you're talking to is, what I see go wrong is that we're not talking to one person. Instead, we're talking to a lot of people. And what that does is that creates confusion. When it came to fat loss and nutrition, I was very specific in my messaging. A lot of you, like, I know Tisha see my stuff. I always would say, hey, women in your 40s and 50s. I was very specific talking to them. I didn't say, hey, anyone out there that wants to lose weight. So I want you to start thinking about that. Are you talking to one specific person in your messaging, or are you talking to everybody trying to see what lands? Because that creates confusion. If you also look at who you are following and what you're drawn to with those people, you very likely feel seen and heard by them because they're talking to one person. In fact, you might have caught yourself going, oh my God, are they spying on me? How did you know? Maybe you ending up on this class, something spoke to you like that. But you wondered, how did you know? So focusing on, are you talking to one person, falls in that category of you and what you're sharing. Okay. Another aspect of that, of you and what you're sharing, is being relatable. Most people are not relatable. They're not relatable at all. People have to see themselves in you. For example, if I didn't tell you that story a little while back about me having my rock bottom, or that I started with 100 followers on Facebook, I might be too unrelatable to you. Same with my fat loss and nutrition business. If people didn't know that I actually had a kid, that I had had a weight challenge before, I wouldn't be relatable, right? A 20-year-old girl who's never had a child, who's teaching fitness to a 50-year-old, that would not be relatable, right? Somebody teaching how to get out of debt that's never been in debt, that would not be relatable. Somebody teaching how to be a supermodel that's never modeled would not be relatable. Now, I'm giving extreme examples here, but my question to you is, are you being relatable to who you're talking to? People want to know that you're relatable? I have one of my personal clients that I'm working with right now, and she was super frustrated because she's trying to build her fitness and nutrition business. She looks amazing. She's 46, I believe, years old. And she was wondering why she could not attract women her age. She just posts these cute little videos every day. She looks super cute. And she didn't understand why she couldn't reach people. And what I explained to her, which many of you know, there's a million people out there showing in fitness and nutrition and that look great. What makes you relatable and interesting? What makes you understand them? And as I started digging in her story, the whole reason she got into fitness in the first place is that she was diagnosed with breast cancer, even though she thought she was super fit. And she was traumatized when she got, as anyone would feel, when she had this diagnosis. She thought her life was over. She was devastated, and she felt like a fake. She thought, how can I be thinking I'm healthy and fit and all these things, and I just got diagnosed with cancer? So she went on a 2-year journey to get herself healthy, to recover from that, to learn, and fitness changed her life. She became a whole new person. That story is relatable to people. All of you, I'm sure, just hearing me talk about that, you feel that. That's an example of being relatable. When people feel your heart and they feel you understand them, they feel seen and heard by you. Now, there's a saying, I didn't make this up. It's not my saying, but I use it all the time. Teach from your scars, not your wounds. And I'm saying that again right now because people don't actually want to hear, I'm so broke right now, I can't afford anything, join my program. They don't want to hear that, right? That doesn't, or follow me on Instagram. But they do want to hear your scars. I'm going through this happened to me, and here's what I'm learning, or here's what I learned. That's relatable and that's empowering, right? There's a difference there. No, I know I'm giving you a lot of information and I have a lot more that I'm going to be sharing. I talk fast. I'm sorry. So if I have anything that I'm confusing, you need me to slow down, please let me know. Write it in the comments and tell me this. But this is really important here, because you're going to start noticing people that you follow, people that you subscribe to, people that you purchase their programs, that you want to work with. You feel their heart, you understand them, and you see yourself in them. And that's what I need you to do on your direction when you're talking on social media, when you're sharing. Are you being that for others? This is important. When I mentioned you're not relatable, this also plays into, do people feel good looking at your profile? Do they feel bad about themselves, or do they feel good? This is a question I wish more people on social media would ask themselves, because I see extremes happening. I see people putting a picture of their sore on their foot. I'm like, okay, that's not appealing. No one cares. And that's gross. And that doesn't make someone feel good. Or I see an extreme of, I'm going to put a perfect picture of myself and say, look at me. That doesn't make people feel good about themselves either. What does make people feel good about themselves is, this is who I was. This is what I went through. This is what I accomplished, and you can too. That makes people feel good about themselves. So a question I want you asking is what I'm putting out there empowering to others? Will this make somebody feel good looking at this? The reason we do things, the reason we follow things, the reason we watch things, the reason we participate in things is that we feel good about ourselves in it. So if we want people to follow you, learn from you, buy from you, whatever, they've got to feel good about themselves when they're seeing this stuff. What I also see go wrong, the word authenticity and authentic are big words this year, especially in the marketing world. People love to talk about being authentic and authenticity. However, people can also tell when you're just trying to be authentic. Authenticity is really just saying the truth. It's telling the scary thing that you didn't want to share. That's true authenticity. Now, we tend to think that people don't want to hear these things, or this is embarrassing, but they're the truth of the matter. They are the real things, and they are where people feel your heart. People want to know the truth. And I always say, when in doubt, tell the truth. When in doubt, tell the truth. Because fake people see right through. The biggest reason social media accounts don't work is people are trying to be something versus just being themselves. Truly being their authentic self. Going along with that relatability, a lot of programs will talk to you about a grid looking perfect. And I am not a fan of perfect grids. You know what a grid means? Like if you look at Instagram, you see the boxes, that's a grid. Okay, when people want it to look perfect, that doesn't help with relatability or selling. That seems like a magazine, it's too perfect. That's bull. I call baloney on it. People want to see real, they want to understand. So it's not about perfection, but it is about what I call the scroll. The scroll is if Mary is tagged on someone's post from Rita. Wait, hang on. I see you. Terry, you're holding up something, but I can't read what it says. Do you want me to unmute you for a second? Hang on a second. You want to unmute yourself? Can you unmute yourself on your end? Yeah. Whoops, there you are. Hi. Whoops, I can't hear. There.
I was agreeing with you on the perfect grid thing. That has been driven so hard, especially in the industry I'm in. I disagree with it 1,000% because it's not duplicatable.
Yes.
Average person is not spending that kind of money and that kind of time on cameras and filters and all the things to make that work. So I was holding beside and said 1,000%. So
yes. Awesome. Thank you for that. Yes. Yeah. So, and there's a difference. I want to kind of clarify on that. So 2 things with that. Grid perfection, I'm not a fan of. I do want things to be appealing. So like I said, my husband just had foot surgery. He was posting pictures of his ugly foot. I'm like, no one needs to see that stuff. Like, take your ugly foot off the thing. So I don't want that. I want things to look clean and nice and people are attracted to it. But that's a difference between that and grid perfection of having everything in order. But what is important is the thumb scroll. And what I mean by that is if Mara sends something to Janine from my Instagram, Janine's going to scroll my Instagram real quick and go in 2 seconds, decide if she wants to follow me or learn more or not. So you want when somebody's thumbing your grid or scrolling it or doing that quick scroll for them to right away know what you stand for. So if you are a business that is fitness and nutrition, for instance, and you have only pictures of your dog on there, people aren't going to know that's what you stand for. Or if you're selling handmade mugs and you don't have any handmade mugs on there, people aren't going to know. So that is important. People have to know what you stand for. but it's not grid perfection. That's totally different. If you looked at my interests or my Facebook, or my Instagram or my book or my Pinterest, you would right away know the different aspects of what I do. And pretty much anyone that you're following, you will start noticing that theme with that. So I do think that part's important, but I would rather less than too much of that. I'd rather you have less posts that make sense for people than too much just to get stuff up there. Really important. Okay. The next part of that same topic is you are not solving a problem that people actually have. You are not solving a problem that people actually have. This is a big one because you think about how many times you see somebody say, hey, do you want to feel better if this? And you're like, no. So that's not going to work no matter how many times you post it. But if you can solve a problem that people actually have, they will listen. It doesn't have to be a big, huge problem. It just has to be a problem. So if you think about what it is that you're selling, whatever your service or your product or what you're standing for, does it actually solve a problem that people have? Tisha, are you still on? Because I'm going to use you as an example for a minute. I don't know if she's still on or not. I can't see her anymore. Oh, hi. Are you on, Tisha? Okay, so Tisha, I don't even know if that's your main business, but you have coffee, right? Coffee is a big part of what you do?
Some of it, yeah. We have a tour company to Costa Rica, and then we also, have been doing.
Okay, so one aspect of that. So coffee, for example, is a product of hers. Is not having coffee a problem for people? Probably not. Probably not. But what is a problem for people is not being alert, having mold in their coffee, feeling that people are getting underpaid to produce coffee. There's a lot of things that are a problem around coffee. So by focusing on a problem that she can solve, that is intriguing to people. But just talking about drink your coffee would not be a problem that she's solving. But saying like mold, for example, mold's a big problem in coffee. That is a problem that people want solved. How do I find coffee that doesn't have mold in it? Or that doesn't go bad, or just one example. So solving a problem that people have is important. A lot of social media doesn't do that. A lot of social media doesn't actually solve a problem. Digging a little deeper on that is you're not solving a problem that you actually figured out a solution to. This is a big marketing mistake. People want to get rich. I want to get rich online. I heard you can make money on social media. So I'm just going to there's this problem that I heard people have and I have a solution for it. If you haven't actually walked through it and solved it for yourself, that comes off as fake and goes back to the not authentic and not relatable. So digging into, have I actually figured out a solution to this problem? Going back to the fitness and nutrition with me and fat loss, I actually solved that problem for myself. So I was able to help others solve that problem for them. It wouldn't have worked if I had never solved the problem for myself, because I wouldn't have been able to relate to what people were going through. Make sense? Okay, so thinking through that. Now, believe it or not, I said I had 5 things. That was just the first thing, y'all. The one thing that I just brought up. So is there any questions on that stuff first before I go into these other sections? Is this helpful so far? I want to know that. And do you have any questions about any of this? No? Okay, yeah, Tisha, yeah?
And so would organic be a problem? Because I know a lot of people are into organic. So having, coffee.
Well, let's talk about that. What would the problem be? What would you think the problem? What does organic solve for people?
Well, you have fewer pesticides.
Okay.
And you're never going to have 100% organic coffee. We have a coffee farm in Costa Rica, so you're never going to have 100% organic coffee. However,
so let me go a little bit bigger with you. Do you mind me using you kind of as a case study here? Okay, so let me just ask you questions about your coffee, and we're going to kind of hit on something here. Tell me all about your coffee. First of all, why did you form it? What is it? Why did you decide to do this?
So my husband's from Costa Rica. My father-in-law is a coffee farmer. And so we have 3 acres of coffee farm next to his 3 acres. So he takes care of all of this. And he really tries to go organic. So it's fair trade organic coffee.
Okay, fair trade. Talk to me more about fair trade.
Fair trade, meaning it's from a coffee farmer down there. We make sure that he's taken care of financially. We know that.
Okay. Because what are most coffees fair trade?
No, they're not.
Okay. All right. So what's wrong with companies that aren't fair trade? Talk to me about that.
When you're not fair trade, you could be paying, 25 cents for someone picking a big, huge gallon tote of coffee, 4 hours out of their day, and they're making 25 cents as opposed to us paying them $2,
Wow.
which is a
yeah. And have you seen people that work in that environment? Yeah,
yes.
and it's pretty horrible. They're raising families. They're trying to offer us out our morning coffee, right?
Very, very intense work.
Okay. Now I just did this very quick with you, but did you start to see a connection where I was digging?
Absolutely.
Where there's a story, where that's relatable, where people don't actually know about this enough. That to me is the bigger problem. That now organic is a nice benefit. Taste is a great benefit. All that's amazing. But how many of you that drink coffee would love to know that you're actually supporting somebody in a better environment? Okay. That's your problem, Tisha. Okay. That's an example. Now I just dealt with you for just a second there. We could go deeper on that, which is what I actually do in like my DVA coaching program with people. We go way deeper on that, but I want you to start to see that that's a problem that you actually could solve. You also have a story that's relatable and you have a reason that you're doing it. That pulls at heartstrings. It's authentic and people want to help.
Okay.
But if you had just taken the organic route, everything says it's organic now. And people don't know they have a problem with that.
Absolutely.
Make sense?
Okay. Makes sense. Thank you.
Is that helpful, you all? Sometimes I'm going to pull some of you on to coach that way because I think we learn from each other with that. Okay, any other questions on that? Let's see, what problems, let's see, didn't really think about it till today. I tried brands for that reason. I love it. Better taste, okay. Anyone stuck on anything that I've covered so far that you want some help with before I jump into the next part? Nope, okay. Let's see. One new message here. Okay, yeah, thank you for sharing that. Okay, number 2. So number 1 was you and what you're sharing. That was number 1. Number 2 is you and the actions you are taking. You and the actions you are taking. Okay, so in that, I've got 4 components of that. Number 1 is you're either not posting enough or you're posting too much. And I'm going to talk into both of those, okay? I am a fan of posting at least once a day. Posting on an actual grid once a day. I think that's an ideal amount of time that people get used to you. They start seeing what you stand for. That's a great rhythm to fall into once a day. For me, right now, I commit to 5 days a week for me, that I post a thoughtful post that goes for 5 days a week. I believe when you're starting and building every day, so 7 would be ideal. Now, the key is you can post the same thing on your Facebook, on your Pinterest, on your Instagram, whatever your platform is. You don't have to create new stuff for each one. No, I can get into details and I'm happy to share that more on this call on like where I would differ things for each one, because I'm going to teach you a little bit about how you can take one piece of content and expand it. But once a day on platforms that you want to grow is key to have a presence, whether that's LinkedIn or Pinterest or wherever. Once a day is good. Now, stories, I'm a huge fan of. Do you guys know what Instagram stories or Facebook stories are? When you click the profile picture, if you don't know what that is, it's definitely worth researching. That one I weigh of more importance than actual grid post. So if you're posting an actual main post on your grid once a day, awesome. But stories, I like to see more. Stories is basically you documenting your day in a helpful way that helps others. So if any of you follow my stories, I'm not sure you do, I do exactly this. I'm posting almost every day on stories. I document different parts of my day that are helpful to people. If you looked at my story today on Instagram and Facebook, for example, I showed what I was eating this morning because I was helping my fat loss nutrition clients there. I was showing one of my favorite supplements today that I use. I did a lot of video with me without any makeup on because I want people to see real. So, I don't hide things from my audience. There was a lot of that. I talked about doing this class tonight for people that were interested. It's a documentation of my day. It's just real time, an opportunity. Like Tisha, just because am I saying your name right? By the way, Tisha, I should know this. Okay, I always see it. Is it Tisha? Whoops, I can't hear you now. Is it yes? Nod? Yeah, Tisha? Tisha? Tisha. Okay, I'm sorry, Tisha. I don't know why. I have somebody else that I work with named Tisha, so I keep saying it wrong. So
That's okay.
I'm sorry about that. Tisha. Okay. So Tisha, for example, you every day when you're making your coffee, you could be showing that a recipe with your coffee. You could be talking a little bit about why an aspect of it. You could be sharing a healthy recipe with it, whatever. It's just documenting and showing your day that it applies to that. Maybe another day it's talking about fair trade in general, talking about things that go along with that. But stories are key. And I always like to say, don't create, document when it comes to stories. It's not about creating. I don't like the over graphicked, over edited, stories, people, you guys know you don't even watch those. You thumb through them. It's like ads. They want to see you actually talking. Now, if you don't like yourself on camera, anyone not like themselves on camera, or like, I don't want to look at myself. Anyone feel that way? All right, I'm going to tell you the best hack in the world with this. Have you heard of an alter ego? When you can like take on an appearance of someone else, an alter ego is when you like, you channel that you're going to be Wonder Woman before something. Filters are like an alter ego. Instagram, Facebook, they have fun filters in your stories, and they're fun. And you could pick funny ones. You could pick one that make you look prettier. They say that there's a filter, but that's not the point. The point is they're fun. They'll make you feel better and you'll share more. Filters are actually genius in my mind. You can use filters. You're not hiding that you're using a filter. You can even joke about it, but it will make you show up stronger and better. So consider that too. But 10 to 15 frames on your stories a day is ideal so people get to know you. And then always asking yourself with your posts and your stories, that same question, am I adding value? What is in it for the person that is scrolling this? If you're not adding value, don't put it there. Which goes into the over posting. Don't do that either. So the posting you don't need to do 3 posts on your Instagram every day, for instance. Yes, you have a question. I see you. Hi, Terry.
Okay. So hi, I'm a makeup artist. So filters for me seems like I'm being deceitful because when I'm trying to show the makeup or whatever, would I only use filters when I'm not doing something related to makeup?
Sure, and you don't have to use filters. Let me be clear. And I don't use a filter all the time at all. I know that my clients that are scared to be on camera, sometimes they change when they use a filter. So even a dog filter, whatever, something funny because they come alive because they feel better. But for a makeup artist, yes, absolutely. You don't want to show filters on like your clients and stuff. That would be deceitful. But you could say things like, I have this on myself because I'm not as pretty as I make my clients. Like, not that you're gorgeous, but you could joke like that. You could say funny things like that. I've done that sometimes in the morning. I'll say, okay, guys, I have a filter on because it's first thing in the morning and nobody needs to see this right now. So I
have people tell me all the time, aren't you afraid to go live without makeup on? And no, I'm not.
And so a filter is absolutely not something I'm saying you have to do it. What I'm saying is if you are intimidated by the camera, that's a way to lighten up and make it fun and get you comfortable with stories.
The other thing that I tell people that are like on my sidelines, I tell them to put like a funny picture up next to their camera, something that makes them relax, or a family member, like if their husband's super supportive, any of those things.
That's amazing. I think that's terrific. That's great. Yeah, I think that's great. And so you also want to think what's comfortable for you. So sometimes it might be more comfortable just to post it live on the story. Sometimes it might be comfortable for you to pre-record it and then come back to it, whatever's most comfortable for you. But I do find that the idea of filters is genius because people show up more confident than they were before. That's the only reason I bring it up. Okay. Okay. With those actions you're taking and you're posting, we said this before, but I'm going to say it again in this section. You want to make sure you're actually solving a problem that people have. So when you're posting, you want to actually make sure, always check yourself, is what I'm sharing actually talking into a problem that people actually have? If you don't know that yet, I'd rather you not post and get clear on that than just post to post. Or poll people and say, is this a problem you have? Is this a problem that you have? The next thing that comes up in the posting is you're making it all about you. Making it all about you will not work. People get tired of that real quick. So when you show something, you always want to think, is this empowering and helping somebody else along on their journey? So I have a huge fitness brand. I definitely show pictures with abs. However, you'll never see me post a picture with abs and say, look at my abs. That will never happen. What might look like is, here's a picture of my abs, but this is what I looked like before. Or here's my abs and here's close up. Let me show you what it looks like when I squeeze my skin together after having a baby. Or here's a picture of my abs, and I want you to know that I'm 49 years old and I didn't always have this. I'm letting people see themselves in me. It's still kind of about me, yes, but it's more about bringing people into that journey. If it's just about you, you will lose people. They don't care. Nobody cares if it's just about you. No, I'm not talking about the one-off, like I just got married. Of course it's about you. Like absolutely, people want to see your life too. It's just that if every day documentation of how amazing you are, people will unfollow you. They don't want to learn about that. Think about who you follow and who you learn from. You will unfollow people quickly if you're feeling that from them. Okay. Number 3, the next section. So we talked about initially you and what you share, the actions that you're taking. And now number 3, this is a really, really important one. You might be confusing. If you are confusing, you will lose people. You will lose people. Messaging has to be very clear. If people don't know what you do by scrolling at your social media and reading your bio, they won't stick around. Now, I'll just own that I made a huge mistake here. Let me explain. My brand on social media, on my main platforms, is fitness, nutrition, and fat loss, and aging in reverse. That's what I stand for. When I started opening up my DVA coaching method and these masterclasses, I went right to my social media. I didn't take my own flippant advice. I said, hey, those of you on here that want this. And people were like, what are you talking about? It was so out of left field. It didn't work. And I had to check myself and say, I'm not doing what I teach. So do I ever talk about my coaching? Sure, I'll sprinkle it in a touch, but you better believe my bio doesn't say that. My bio is very, very clear on what I do on that page. So you can have many assets of yourself, many parts of yourself, but you want to be very clear on your social media what it is that you do. Like coffee, very clear on what your coffee stands for. Makeup, you do makeup, Terry, very clear on what you do. You take years off of people, you make them camera ready, you make them photogenic, whatever it is that your gift in makeup is, you've got unique gifts in your makeup. Whatever it is that makes you unique, that's incredible, and share that. But people want to know that you are that. Those of you that have worked with me for years, you know I've changed mine a lot of times, but I'm very clear. If someone says, what do you do for a living? It's, I kill fat for a living. I said that for a long time. A lot of times I say, I help women age in reverse. I help people level up their life. I help people get clarity on their vision. Very specific. I don't throw all the messages at the same time, at the same place, but I'm very specific. So make sure on your social media, you are very clear in your messaging what it is that you do. They need to know what you stand for. And they need to know that you actually care. And they need to know that in that thumb scroll, they can figure out what it is that you do. Make sense? Okay. Confusion loses people. I'll say the same thing about bio links, especially when you're just starting out and building. Your bio link, that clickable link on Instagram, on Facebook, on wherever you're focused on your platform, needs to be something very specific, not a million choices for people. I walk your dog and I do makeup and I sell coffee. And like, that's confusing for people. I take years off of your life. I help you lose the weight. I help you look younger. I make you camera ready. I save lives and livelihood with my coffee. Whatever it is that you like, very clear messaging what you do so people know when they land on your stuff. Okay. Anyone stuck on this? Because I'm happy to help you. Adele just asked, what would you say about wine? Adele, are you on? Because I'm happy to like bring you on and talk to you more about this if you're on.
I'm here.
Hi. Can I talk you through it right now with the wine?
Sure.
Okay. So you tell me what you do a little bit more.
So I work for a company that I do direct sales, but it's for a company that is, I'm like drawing a blank. It's a very giving company. It's a give back kind of with every purchase. So It's a charitable company that is, each bottle of wine purchased is a donation, and I'm raising money with 501c3s to try to bring them money.
Okay, tell me more about the wine and what makes it unique and why you sell it, why you chose to sell it.
Well, the charitable aspect was big for me because being in New York, we got hit hard, obviously, with COVID, and selling jewelry wasn't cutting it. So I went to the wine. Quite honestly, all my friends were drinking like crazy. So I was like, I'm in the wrong business.
Wait, your friends were drinking like crazy, you were saying? Did you say they were drinking like crazy?
They were all drinking, constantly posting drinks. And I'm like, I'm in the wrong industry. So I started researching, and I love this company because of the charitable donations that they make.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was just told that award-winning wines and, you know, that we have these award-winning wines and people don't know the numbers, but some do. A 90-point wine, a 96-point wine. People are like, nobody cares about that. So
Nobody cares about that. Yeah,
right.
No one cares.
So I don't know where to go from there.
Okay. So your motive is not your company. You are just selling the wine. So how have you branded yourself? Like, what does your social media handle say? Where are you with that? Like, what do you call yourself?
So here's my other problem. And I was going to ask you this earlier. Okay. I do a skincare, a jewelry, and a wine line, right? So the wine is my main focus right now. But I'm taking one umbrella and I want to put everything under one umbrella.
Okay, tell me this again. So we say that, actually, I'm getting some ideas here. That sounds fun. So we say skincare, wine, and what else?
Jewelry.
Skincare, fun, and jewelry. Okay. Okay. Sometimes all the things you do can become one thing that you do. Okay. Let me explain. So I tell women, I help them age in reverse and level up their lives. That's what I say right now. Age in reverse and level up their lives. The way that I do that is through my fat loss programs, my nutrition, through my podcast, and through my business and branding coaching. All of that falls under that umbrella. Okay. It's still clear message. Your hook on that is something, and I'm in this like quick consult with you. I can't help you completely figure this out, but it's something along those lines with the skincare, the wine, and the jewelry. Like, you help them feel better and look better. Something along those lines. You help them feel better and look better, because you are not only helping them look better with their skincare and their jewelry, right? You're gonna help them relax with the wine. So there's something there in that messaging that goes together. There's something in there. It's not the feature and benefit of the wine. Now, the wine has its own component to undo there. Like, what makes that unique? Why would they like that wine? The charitable aspect might be one. It might be you following some other wine companies that are doing well with their branding. Like, there's that one that has no sugar. Is it called farm wine? It's like no sugar wine. Find those angles so you have those unique things. But your story and your social media quite likely could be all three of those things. But you have a tagline that you're constantly going back to. I help you look better and feel better.
Okay.
Okay. Does that start to make sense? I know this was a very quick conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with combining things into one. But
that's what I was doing. My friends and I came up with a name. And so, but now it's like, I have 3 Instagram pages. I have 3 groups. I have 3 pages on Facebook. So now I need to downgrade what I have.
Focus on one. I think the place for you to focus, and this might make sense in the next things that I bring up here today, but is to really dial in, how do I tie all 3 of these together so it makes fun and you're selling you? Because these aren't if these are not your businesses or somebody else's, you still need to sell you. Right. It's you, not just the product, it's you. So
can I ask you the difference between go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna ask? Difference between what?
The difference between the groups and the pages, what is better as far as a group and a page on Facebook?
Okay, and that depends. So a page is amazing for public and a lot of people seeing, but a group, if you have your actual avatar, I'm going to say that that's better, because you know that all those people are going to see your stuff. So for instance, when I do my programs, like when I do my Total Body Thrive this January, a lot of that will be in a group, because I want everybody, it's because I know that they're all going to reach and see my videos in there.
So it's okay to have both.
You could totally do both. You can absolutely do both. But with you, I think it's dialing in, who are you and what do you stand for? What's your personal brand? And then those components of what you sell and do tie into your personal brand. So your Instagram or Facebook, I would want to see a little of all of it. A little of wine, a little of jewelry, a little skincare, but always tying back to that same message.
But I have to merge them together. Yeah.
Merge it together under your brand. Yeah. It doesn't mean you have to our post has all 3 things. But every post is still going back to, this is what I help women do. Make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay. Number four. The other thing that people are doing wrong, and I call this in number 4, is you are obsessing or planning or offering. You're not obsessing or planning or offering. And let me explain what I mean there. The worst thing that people could do is outsource their social media. Say, what? What do you mean? It's the worst you could do. Outsourcing your social media when you're trying to build does not make sense. That's not sales. That's not problem solving. It's not going to get anywhere. When can you outsource your social media? Once you know it's actually working and you have a formula and you can have somebody help to repeat it. So let me give you an example. I do not outsource my personal Instagram or Facebook, my main Natalie Jill Fit Instagram or Facebook. I do it all myself. Because it's me and I'm actually interacting with people. I have a podcast social media page, Leveling Up, which I don't care about interaction on. I put that there just so I can have the episodes I've done on my podcast so people can quickly find them. That I outsource because I'm not trying to get engagement or sell anything there. I'm literally just using that as a resource place for people to know about what podcast episodes I have. But if I were to outsource my Natalie Jill Fit Instagram or Facebook, it would not be me. I wouldn't have a tab on how I can solve problems for people. And that would not work. You can outsource parts to help you, but don't outsource your actual social media. When I brought up obsessing is a strong word, but I will tell you, you need at least 3 weeks of obsessing over something to get it. Doesn't mean you obsess over it forever, but like if you were to take what we're talking about today and go to your social media and spend 3 weeks, like I'm going to obsess on this and do these things that she just shared, it's amazing what will change and shift from it. But you have to do that. If you were just to take what I taught you today and give it to someone else to do, that's not obsessing over it. Obsessing over it is what makes you strong in it. Not for permanent. I don't want your husbands or your kids to get mad at you. So I don't want it to be a permanent thing, but it needs to be a point where you're learning it and understanding it and taking on that time to figure this out and say, okay, she said to do these things. I'm going to do these things and I'm going to look and obsess and see, does it work? Does it not work? What could I shift? Why is somebody else that I'm following? Why is that working for them? And looking at that, but obsess over it. The biggest problem people are doing in the not obsessing, planning, or offering, get this, you're not going to believe this, but it's so simple. And I'm pretty sure most of you are not doing this. You're not actually putting yourself out there and offering something that you do. You're not offering a service. People have no idea. I had a client that I was working with that she was not understanding why she wasn't getting nutrition consults when she shares nutrition tips, but she never once mentioned in any of her posts or on her bio that she does nutrition consulting. So it sounds so simple, but if you don't put yourself out there and say, I'm available to help with this, no one's going to know that you sell or do that. So make sure in your bio, you're actually saying, I sell coffee, I sell this, whatever it is. Message me for more information on this. But put yourself out there for that and share that offer. When you don't put yourself out there, people don't know that they can work with you and they don't want to bother you. They'll go to somebody else. Now, the other side of that coin, and this just happened to me, I had met this woman that does this unique business that I wanted to learn more about. And I wanted to hire her. And I went to her Instagram page and I sent her a DM, no response. Okay, she didn't respond to me. So I clicked on the thing to go to her website and I hit contact. I went to the contact page. It said book a call and I clicked on it and it was a broken link. So I was like, okay, strike two. So then I went to email me and I sent her an email and it bounced back to me. Okay, now you lost me. So I'm not gonna hire you. So you are not reachable is something I'm putting down there too. If people can't reach you, you're gonna lose them. Especially when you're building and starting your social, you've gotta be reachable. Tell people how to reach you, how to communicate with you and actually answer. Open up your direct messages. Give them your email. Let them know very clearly how to find you and do more. If someone DMs me on Instagram, and I run several businesses now, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm busy. If someone sends me a DM asking about one-on-one coaching or branding, you better believe they're getting a voice note back from me. Every single time, it's never failed. I leave them a voice message back on Instagram telling them how to apply, that I'm excited to talk with them more. If I'm not too busy for that, you're definitely not too busy for that. Okay. Do I respond to every message? No, I don't respond to, hey, I'm going to send you my socks. Will you shout me out? Like, I'm not going to respond to that. Or where did you get that Brett you had in your hair? I might not respond to that one. But if it's someone that really is seriously, they want to do my program, they want to learn from me, they want to work for me, I'm responding. So make yourself reachable. We're not too busy for that. If we are, we're literally pushing away business. And then the next thing there is engaging your audience. I don't care if you get one comment on your post, engage with it. Thanks for taking the time to comment. I appreciate that, whatever it is. But people need to see that you're engaged. And remember, it goes back to what I said earlier. It's not about the number. It's not about how many people, how many likes. That doesn't matter. I let that go a long time ago. It does not matter. I look at some people that post in my space that have thousands of comments under their things, and I have 50 under one of my posts, but it doesn't matter to me because my 50 are actually great people that want to work with me. They're actually ideal avatars or clients, and that's all I'm talking to. I'm not trying to do things for likes and comments. I'm doing it to actually help people and reach them. So do that same thing. Okay, any questions before I get into number 5? Let's see. Yara says, do you recommend using your real name or your business name for social media? That totally depends. I use my real name and I regret having the word fit after it. It says Natalie Jill Fit because that like locked me into fit for a long time. So it depends. I think there's pros and cons to both. You could really do either. It's really whatever's sitting well with you. But people will start knowing you for whatever title you use. Like I have a friend, my friend Ingrid Macker, she has a huge following called Adele Gaza. She's like 10 million followers on Instagram. And even when I met her, I'm like, hey, Adele. I didn't know that Adele Gaza means lose weight in Spanish. I just thought that was her name. So people are gonna, whatever name you use on your social media, people will think that's you. So just think that through too. Okay. Okay, reason 5. And then I'm gonna, after this reason 5, I wanna just take it up to open up for any coaching, any questions and answers while you've got me here. So if you need personal help on yours, I wanna absolutely engage with you on that. But I wanna get to this part right here because this is the most important part of everything when growing a business, especially on social media. The biggest reason people don't make money or grow their social media in a way that's gonna monetize or help business and help people is they themselves are not clear on where they are headed. And even if they are clear on where they're headed, they've got old beliefs stopping them from getting there. I'm gonna say that again, and I'm gonna break it down. The biggest reason people do not grow their business online, especially using social media, is they themselves are not clear where they're headed. And even if they are clear, they've got a lot of old beliefs stopping them from getting there. There's 2 components of that. 1, vision. It's vision. If you don't actually know where you want to go, you're not going to end up there. So if you think about, and I've used this example many times where you might have heard me say it on social media, but if we all right now got in a car separately and I said, just go drive somewhere, we would all end up in different places. If every one of us got in a car, we'd end up in different places because I wasn't clear on where we're all headed. We're going to all go different places. We're going to arrive at different times. Who knows where we'll end up? We'll just see. Somebody might end up at a great beach somewhere. However, if instead I'm like, hey, we're all going to New York City and this is what's happening. And we're all really excited about New York City and our plan there and what's going to happen and what we're going to eat, what it's going to be like when we get there. All of us are going to be pre-tested for COVID and have no issues. And it's just going to be fun like old times. And we're all super clear on our vision. And I say, we're all going to be there by, Monday and we're clear. We would all get there. We would get there different methods. Somebody might jump on a train. Somebody might get in an Uber. Somebody might fly. Somebody might take a boat. Someone might walk outside their front door. We all would take different methods to get there, but every single one of us would end up in New York City because we're clear on our vision. One of the biggest mistakes I see with people, and it's why I created my DVA program, by the way, is that people are not clear on their actual vision. And until you get laser clear on where you're headed, there's no way to guarantee you're going to end up there. It's just not possible. Now, it's mostly women on right now. And I know all of you, because every female on this planet has at one time or another struggled with body image or weight, right? We've all at one point just struggled with that. It's the same thing with weight loss and that. If we don't know what we want to obtain, we're not going to ever get there. If we're just like, I just don't want to be like this, or I just want to be happy, that doesn't work out for people. But when they're laser clear on where they're headed and why they want that, they're going to get there. So vision is critical. Critical. How many of you think right now you're laser clear on your vision? Yeah, see, interesting. No hands went up. That's some of you. Yeah. I love Alexandra's cute. She does this to me a lot. I love that. A little bit, vision. Yeah. Vision is one of the hardest things to get clear on. And actually the whole reason I have a program called DVA Method, which I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, where I actually take what I do with my private one-on-one clients, the ones that I take through a program that I charge $30,000 for. And I've taken that same method and I'm taking a small group of people in January through this method. And the very first action, the thing that we're going to focus the most time on is getting laser clear on that vision. Because I know with 100% certainty that when people are laser clear on their vision, they can smell it, they can feel it, they can breathe all of it, that they get there. So that's the first thing that we do in there. So if you're not clear on your vision, On your own, you can certainly figure that out, or DVA might be for you because vision is critical. The second part of that, I mentioned old beliefs. It's what I call fat. See, I still kill fat for a living. Fat to me stands for false assumed truths. It's not just the fat on our bodies. It's what I call false assumed truths, meaning we have old belief sets that are in our way and they're holding us back. Things like, I'm too late to social media. I'm too old to pivot. People know me for this one thing. I'm not good at this. I hate sales. I don't have the time. All those things are false assumed truths. I can't afford it. False assumed truth. Why are all those things false assumed truths? You know something's a false assumed truth when somebody else in your same circumstance has been able to figure it out. When it comes to fat loss, I say this all the time with like hormones. Like a lot of women will say, I can't lose weight because of my hormones or because I had this happen. And my question always is back to them is there's somebody else that has that same diagnosis or situation that lost the weight? Well, yes, then it's a false assumed truth. It's a belief that's not serving you well. So false assumed truths are really, they're sneaky. They creep up on us. They creeped up on me wanting to start DVA program. I should stay in my lane. I should just do this. It's comfortable. I shouldn't do that. False assumed truth. I saw somebody type in the comments earlier, I'm 42. Is it too late to pivot? False assumed truth. So the next thing that I'm going to recommend is when you get clear on your vision, also get clear on what are all those false assumed truths holding you back from achieving your vision, because that's the other most important critical step. If you don't know that, they will keep stopping you. And I know most of you on this call, whether you're on live with me now or you're listening to the replay, you have false assumed truths around social media. Is it too late? Is it too expensive to do a program? I'm not good at this. I don't take good photos. All those are false assumed truths, and I want you to bust through them. Okay. DVA program, which I still have spots open for right now. I know we've got a lot of people that already registered for January. We still have spots. We're taking 30 people max for that, by the way, 30 people max. And what I'm doing in DVA with these people, with those people that join, is they're getting what I do in my one-on-one coaching, basically, but as a small group. And as you can see, small groups work well. Like right now on this call, we've had just a few of you on, even just taking on examples like Tisha, like taking on examples, you see how you learn from coaching other people. It's a great opportunity because not only are you learning from me and having that coaching, but you have the team that we work with together on those same goals. And you get super clear on your vision. DVA stands for decide, vision, action, by the way. You get super clear on your decision, your vision, and the actions that you need to take. This masterclass tonight was a very, very small example of stuff. This was just one small aspect. And I did social media because I know that's that low-hanging thing that people always want. They think, how do I grow my social media? And that's why I wanted to share that with you tonight. But before I take open to any questions, if you are at all interested in DVA process, all it looks like is you would go to dvamethod.com, and we're going to put a link in the bio, dvamethod.com. You would book a brief strategy call with someone from my team, and we're going to help you on that call. There's no charge for this. Get clear on what you want to create. And if we think DVA will be a match for you, we'll invite you in. So that you have nothing to lose by doing this call. You don't pay for the call. You just book it. I just ask that you show up for the call. If you book it, because my team, they hold the spot and they're so good. These people are going to do the calls. They're so good. And they're going to hold the time for you. So just show up for the call. So if you do the call, worst case, you get great insight and you don't move forward. But if you get great insight and we think we can help you, we'll offer DVA to you. Sound good? Okay. So to apply for that, it's just dvamethod.com. Okay, I want to open it up. If anyone has any questions about anything, whether it's DVA or anything we covered tonight, I want to help you. Alexandra, I see you. Go ahead. Can you unmute yourself, Alexandra? Yeah. Yeah. Hi.
All right. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I followed your program for so many years. I just have to start there. Sorry.
Which program did you follow? All of them or different ones, or which one?
I've done several. I've done several of your courses, and because of your course, I was inspired, and not only inspired, but I've had people ask me how, and so I've helped people, kind of get on their own weight loss journey.
I love that.
That's where my kind of question is leading to, because I don't know if this is a false assumed truth or not, but what I'm going off of is like that 10% edge where I've helped several people get results. I've kind of just explained to them what I did and then help them improve their nutrition and their weight loss, but I don't have a certification in nutrition yet.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's great.
Okay, so I'm not sure, and I think this is what's kind of holding me back also, is that I feel like, well, first of all, like, who am I to be sharing this if I don't have, a certification? But my initial idea is to start it off with doing some meal planning and meal prepping and helping women busy moms over the age of 40, kind of kickstart their weight loss by meal planning and meal prepping.
I love it.
I don't know if that's something that you think might take off the ground, or if I need to just kind of scale it back a little bit.
Got lots of good stuff there. Okay, so first and foremost, yes, that's a total false assumed truth about certifications, because there's a lot of people that have a lot of certifications and they're not doing anything online. They're not getting anywhere. They're not making money. They're not successful. Okay. What is okay is not having certifications. What's not okay is lying about it. So if you are authentic with people and you are telling the truth, that's what matters. So by saying, I am a busy, like, I'm just making this up, I don't know your full story, but like, I'm a busy mom, I am a wife, I constantly ran into this problem, XYZ. I did countless other people's things, XYZ. What I learned from that was this, and this is where I want to help people. Yeah. So you're very real with that. And then you start figuring out where does the interest lie there, and you start diving into that niche there. Because you could be, I mean, I would follow somebody that's the busy mom that's just creating healthy recipes, or that learned from information overload and is now helping me from what she learned. As long as you're telling the truth about things, that's what matters. And there's a whole direction you could go in there, by the way. Like, if you're not certified in something, but you want to sell something and you have a following, you could be an affiliate for someone else's program, for example, which means you sell their program and you get a percentage of it. So there's ways around it, or you become the person that recommends resources. Or you could do something with a network marketing company where they already have the products and the science behind it. There's lots of options there, but the key is branding yourself and your story and being relatable to people so they want to learn more from you.
Okay.
And you're on the right track. You're starting to recognize the false assumed truth, so you can start seeing what's coming up.
Yeah. I think that that was my main thing, that was holding me back. But my story is not. I mean, yes, I was at one time a busy mom. Like when I went through my weight loss journey, now like I'm an empty nester mom, and so and then it was, and so then it's kind of like my behind the scenes for doing it was because of my own health issues, which was a hysterectomy because of fibroids, and so it's just kind of like, that's so sad. Like I don't know if I should go with that angle or just go. I don't know, just a little
my attention there on a couple of things you said. I mean, empty nester is a huge thing. I mean, there's a whole host of problems with empty nesting. Like, we're used to taking care of others and now we're back to taking care of ourselves, right? There's a whole market around that. So that's one thing. The hysterectomy is very real. It's a great share. And there's a lot of false assumed truths women have around that. They think they're having hysterectomy, they're going to gain all this weight. You obviously did not. So sharing how you didn't.
Yeah, well, actually, I was already overweight when I had, because of being overweight, because of the sugar, because of all the processed food that I ate, that's why I had to have the hysterectomy. And that's kind of like where I'm trying to go with it. But then I feel stuck because I feel like I don't have the certification to teach that. So, so that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I love it. Well, you're on the right track. And that you brought up false assumed truths first. This is very natural for women. So just to be aware of that we do that. We bring up these false assumed truths like right away, and then we stop ourselves. And I call that a self-imposed stop, because we had this, oh my gosh, I'll just stay safe, I won't do that. But as soon as you recognize it, you're like, nope, I'm recognizing it, I'm putting it aside, and I'm going to share this anyway. Because the certification thing is not critical for what you're talking about.
I'm just going to ask one last question.
Yeah, of course.
Yes or no, and then I'll let somebody else talk.
Okay.
But so do you think it would be okay to sell a course around meal planning, meal prepping without the certification? Or
I think that it's, as long as you're honest, you can do things like that. But I think you might be putting the cart before the horse, because instead I want you to first get clear on the vision, what you want to create, what you'd ideally create, and then grow an audience first. Because when you have an audience, remember at the beginning of this, I shared that if you have a solution for a problem that people are already relating to, they're going to want that from you. So if you create the program first, then you're pigeonholed. You're like, I created this program and no one wants this from me. Yeah. When I went back to my story at the beginning, when I was I started my Facebook, I shared recipes first. things that I was doing to get healthy. And people said, how did you do these recipes? Maybe you should make a recipe book. So that was my first product, a recipe book, because they were asking for that. Then the next question was, well, how did you use these recipes to lose weight? So then I made a small thing called 7-Day Jumpstart, which, by the way, is the best-selling books in stores right now.
Yeah, I have that.
Came from a problem. Yeah. And then people said, well, how did you lose the weight and eat healthy? And then what did you do with your body? Like, how did you exercise at home without money? I was like, so I created body weight workouts. But I did one thing. It was one solution to a problem at a time. One solution to a problem at a time. So if you put the cart before the horse and you're like, I'm going to create this product based on this, but you don't know if women are resonating with you, then that might not be the right step first. What might be the right step is to start engaging, getting a following, and taking a few one-on-one people first to help, because then you start seeing a theme in what these one-on-one clients are bringing up with you. And now you have a method where you can create an ebook or a product.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Of course. Welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Let's see. Hi, Janine. Hi. Okay. Hi there.
So I am a divorce coach, and I thought I was very laser clear on who I wanted to help. And it was specifically women who had been, stay-at-home moms, and now all of a sudden their lives have been turned upside down as a result of their divorce. And it's this big struggle financially, emotionally, and it's, such a difficult time to go through. So that was I was very specific. I thought about who I wanted to work with, who my ideal client was. And I had all this time to design the perfect website and to put together my Facebook page. And I felt everything was geared towards women. And it has a very feminine feel to everything. And now for some reason, I have my best clients happen to be men. And so now I'm rethinking, like, do I need to redo my website? Do I need to because I specifically say on my social media, like, I'm here to help women whose lives have been turned upside down. But yet somehow I attracted men, but it wasn't through the social media. But now I'm thinking, do I need to change?
Well, I'm going to throw that back to you. What's your vision? What do you want to be creating? Who do you want to be working with? Do you want to be working with men?
No, I ideally want to be working with women.
Okay.
But I also have to pay the bills. And I'm thinking, like, did I falter by making it too specific?
Yes. Great question.
I don't want to eliminate a potential source of flow of income.
Yes. Great question. Well, it didn't distract men because you still found 2 great clients from that, correct? So even though they didn't come in from that, they still came in. So you're not just like my fat loss programs, I'm talking to women. I don't tell men they can't do them. But I'm talking specifically to women because it goes back to, you want to talk to one person, your avatar. If other people come in, you can decide if you want to work with them, but you are still talking to that one person. If your vision long-term is women, then I would not go change everything, because that's who you're talking to. What you might want to get clear on your social media is, I have men clients. I still want more women. This is why I want more women, and talk to those women about that. But to take and say, I have to go redo a website, rechange things, that puts you into a false assumed truth and keeps you stuck. Because now you're like, it gives you a reason to not have to move forward with what your vision is. And this happens a lot. It puts us back into this perfection spot. Like, well, it's not good enough yet, so let me go back. So I would say, just with the little I know, you're still on the right track. Just tie that into your messaging on social. Ladies, I am an ideal coach for you going through this. Yes, I've worked with men, and what I've learned through these men is you women actually need my help more. You can, which you probably have figured that out with them. Just whatever it is. So I think that is fine that they're paying your bills, but yes, I would still make sure you're talking to what your vision is. If we don't do that, the danger is we end up where we don't want to be. When we try to appeal to all people, we don't know where we're going to end up. It's like getting in the car and just driving. We don't know where we're going to end up. Okay. I know darn well, if I talk to 20 to 30-year-olds on Instagram about fitness, my post would get a lot more views and a lot more interaction. But I don't want to coach 20 to 30-year-olds on weight loss. That is not my goal. So that's not who I talk to. Do I tell them they can't buy my programs? Absolutely not. They can buy my programs, but that's not who I'm talking to. So for you, it's more of a question of vision still, Janine. What is your vision? And keep focusing there. Okay. That is something, by the way, if you end up applying for DVA, that is a huge focus of ours in there. Okay. Hi, and you might want to do that strategy call, Janine, just to get clarity around that too.
Yeah, I think I will.
Awesome. Hi, Terry. Go ahead. Hi.
Okay, so mine's going to be a little different. So I do work for a network marketing company. I am a certified makeup artist.
Okay.
At first I was kind of focusing on just all women, like that broad net thing. And I kind of have a couple different ways to go. And my story might be a trigger for some people. So if you're triggered by sexual abuse, you might want to mute me. So as a child who was sexually abused, I'm a rape survivor. I have a great husband now. He's awesome. I was married young, had a child at 17. And so I am the stereotypical, should be a drug addict, should be in jail, should be all those false truths that you hear. But I have a master's in accounting. We own a successful brick and mortar company. I started this network marketing to reach out to women and tell them that you are not your circumstances.
Oh, so good.
That you are more than that.
Yes.
And that we all have a gift, like you were talking about. Where I struggle is, do I tell that story of my past? I'm not going to cry. Of my past, or do I just keep that to myself?
Okay.
Because
first
I'm
of
not
all,
afraid of something. So,
Terry, first of all, never, ever, ever apologize for that again. Okay. You never have to tell people to mute or turn off, or if they get triggered, you're sorry. Your story is powerful and it will help a lot of people. There are so many people that have been through what you're talking about. And if they haven't been through it, they probably know someone who has, and there needs to be a bigger awareness around it. Huge. And when people are triggered,
oh, sorry. My first husband was actually, him and two of his friends are the ones that raped me. He also tried to kill me. So there's so much there that very few of my really close friends even know. Like, it's not that I don't want to tell them. I just am kind of like, do they want to hear it? Do they want to?
I get that. That's your false assumed truth, because people do. It's what you're comfortable with sharing. But I want to tell you that your story, remember I said earlier that teach from your scars, not your wounds. You're in the scar stage right now. Okay. You have a powerful, you're here for a purpose. Like, your life has a purpose. Your story has a purpose. And that is amazing. And I can't wait to know more about you, like that you're helping women feel and look better and create an income from themselves to help them heal. That is so powerful. Do you know how many people would relate to your powerful story? It's incredible.
Well, when I found you on YouTube and you were talking about, well, first of all, I didn't believe you were 49, because I get it a lot. You're not 53. And I'm like, yeah, I have a 35-year-old daughter. I'm 53. So when I heard you saying you were 49, I was like, okay, I relate to her, because I get that all the time, that pushback of, no, you're not. And I'm like, yeah, women can look great at any age.
Yes.
And I actually think we look better as we get older. So.
So one of the things that I'm going to be doing in DVA, Terry, where I think you really should do a strategy call.
I reset up my appointment for tomorrow.
Storytelling. We're spending a lot of time in DVA on storytelling, like how to tell your story from a place of power, because it's like who I am today was not who I was at this time. And then how to tell your story. That's a huge, important part in attracting people to you. And that's a big focus of DVA Method, is how to tell your story, because that is everything right there. And when you share that, if you get nothing else from me ever again, stop apologizing for your story. Don't tell people mute or jump off. This is my story, and people need to hear it. They need to hear that this happens and that this is real. And that if it happens to
them, I don't feel like I ever did anything wrong to deserve it. I've gotten past that, past that part. Yes. I don't have anger towards the people. I'm much more in a place of, what can I do to help others? How can I reach out to someone else and bring them to the point of, listen, because I was never getting married again. After that, I was done. I met my husband and my daughter. I had a 6-month rule. You couldn't meet my daughter for 6 months because you probably weren't going to be around. Honestly, I was not going to keep you around. And he begged and bugged and bugged. And I finally said, okay, fine. But she can't know we're a couple. So she met him, and within an hour, can I call you daddy? Now keep in mind, he was 22, had no children, never been married. And he comes to tell me, and I'm like, and this is how, this will show you the attitude change. I put my hand on his forehead and said, are you sick? Because he wanted visitation rights to her permanently.
Wow.
That's how hard I was pushing back against people saying, no, no, no. And now I realize that he was put in my path to show me that there is gentle love. And there are people that love you no matter what. And
there's so much to unpack there, and it's a gift. These wounds, I don't know if you don't listen to it now, listen to my podcast, Leveling Up, because I just shared 220 stories on there of people of how they created massive results from a crazy setback or story, like a real thing. I want you to hear how people speak about what happened to them and how the lessons that they've learned from it and what it's created, because you've got so much powerful there and you have so many gifts to offer people, and what you're doing is amazing. Like helping women with these things is absolutely incredible. I hope you'll at least do the strategy with DVA, because I'm
one of the ones that there was a glitch in the system, and so nobody, yeah, and so I reached out to you, yeah, so I rescheduled it for tomorrow.
Are you taking care of it? Are you on the schedule now for it or no?
For tomorrow, yeah.
Good. Okay, awesome.
But I just want to let you know that your old lady talk works.
I love it. I love it. Yes, we're not too old and it's not too late.
That's right.
Yes, thank you. Any other questions? Let's see. Hi, Teresa. Can you unmute yourself and then I can hear you? Yes. Whoops, I still can't hear you. It might be your volume on your end. There. Let's see. It says that you're unmuted, but I can't hear you at all. No, I can't hear you. Oh no. Do you want to, if someone else wants to go, you can maybe type out your question. I can come back. Wait, now I can hear something.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Oh, here you are. Yes, I can hear you now.
I didn't come on earlier because I have a son with special needs, and you never know when he's going to do a photo bomb. So, so Terry, I'm an author, and I think your story would be an amazing story. And if you ever are thinking about writing about it, I have a great publisher who is a champion for women that I can hook you up with. So look me up. So that being said, Natalie, I'm a fitness professional for 37 years. I've been following you for a while. Don't do the math. It's been a while. I'm 59. But I also am an author, and I know you've written some books. So if you could just give me some of your top tips for promoting a new book on social media.
Yeah, great question. It really goes back to everything that we just went over. People don't care what you have until they know how much you care. So what are your books? What is the book that you want to promote right now?
My book is it's a memoir, but it also has takeaways and lessons I've learned on navigating my son who has a dual diagnosis of Down syndrome and autism. So
okay, got it.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's me.
Do you already have a following on social media, like a loyal following, or you do?
Yeah, I'm at right around coming up on 1,000 on about 1,500 on Facebook and 950 on IG, Instagram.
Has your audience already bought your book? Have you already been talking with them about it? Or you're wanting to start doing that?
I have been talking about it. I mean, I would say my Instagram account is more about showing my son and what he's capable of, and some ideas to, especially with the lockdown of what we're doing at home, to keep his skill set up.
Okay. So so with same stuff I've been going over would apply, but also tying a story as to why this book is going to benefit other people and why it makes sense for them to support you. For example, people want to help. People want to help. And the reason I say that is if they knew that you have been raising a son with this and you've overcome all this, and now this is something you created to help others. And by you, if you're enjoying my content and you enjoy, I've not asked for anything from you before. You getting this book, not only does it add value to you, but it's also supporting what I'm creating here for you for free.
I like that.
So you can take that, which is true. Remember I said earlier, when in doubt, always tell the truth. When in doubt, always tell the truth. Both my books, when I launched them, I was very clear to people. You all have been consuming my content for free on social media for years. I've not asked for much, but if you go get this book for $15, I make like $2 off the book. So it's like a $2 investment for me to keep creating this stuff for you. Like people want to support that. It's the truth. So tell the truth to people. They want to help. Tell them what's in it for them. Don't try to be a marketing message and fool people. Just say, this is why I wrote it. This is how it's going to help you. And by you doing it, it's supporting me and my son. Whatever it is that you just always tell the truth. People want to help when they know the truth. They can tell when you're faking it. They can tell when you're faking it.
I like that. And I've gotten so many good tips tonight on just how I'm going to tweak a little bit of my message as well. Thank you.
I love it. Thanks, Teresa. Thank you. Any other questions? Let's see. All right. If you are on now or if you're watching the replay, thank you so much. Thank you for giving me your time tonight. I hope this was helpful tonight. Was this helpful? Did you get some things from it? I love it. Thank you. Yay. DVAmethod.com if you have any interest in applying. I hope you do, because I want to help you get really clear on your vision, the actions that you would take, tell your story. I am only taking 30 people through this. It is the only time I'm only going to take 30 people through this. Same process I do with my $30,000 clients. So it's a great opportunity. Remember, the strategy call is totally free. So dvamethod.com, and you can apply and we'll get you on the books for that call. That's all you have to do is commit to the call. I did have a question come in and it said, when in the DVA, will I dive deeper on Q&As? Yes. So the course is not like you're just getting videos and that's it. It's not like that at all. We'll have a Facebook group and video training, but the meat of the course is going to be the live Zooms like this that I do every week over 10 weeks. So over 10 weeks, you're going to have a live Zoom just like this. It'll never be more than the 30 people on, and you're going to get live coaching from me just like this. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I hope to see some of you in DVA, or at least get you on the strategy call. And I hope this was helpful. Thanks for joining me.